Welcome back again, folks, to Cooking with Drew Williams. It's New Year's time, and today we're going to cook a traditional New Year's meal. It's going to be peas and greens and pork and cornbread. So we're fixing to get started. First thing I'm going to do is chop up a little bit of bacon, about 5 or 6 strips, really small, and get it fried up. We're going to use about half of the bacon in the peas and half of it in the turnip greens, and the same thing with the grease, about half in one and half in the other. So, I'm going to get this in the pan frying, and y'all check back with me in just a minute. This bacon will be done, and we'll move on to the next step of this meal, which will be the peas. Be right back. Okay, folks, moving on to the next part of this meal is the peas. Now I've got field peas with snaps, which is pretty much exactly like black-eyed peas, and that's the tradition. Part of the tradition is that it started back in the Civil War days, and peas were just such a southern thing. One story I heard was that the Union Army raided the Confederate food bank, and they took everything they could get except for the peas, and they left them behind. That's kind of funny. Anyway, the peas are round. I think they represent coins. They're supposed to bring you good luck. And one story I heard said you're supposed to eat at least 365 peas to represent each day of the upcoming year. To my peas, I'm going to add a half a stick of butter, a little bit of salt, quite a bit of black pepper because I like it. I'm going to add about a half an onion. Save the other part for the greens. I'm going to add a little bit of my bacon. Save the other part for the greens. I'm going to add about half of my bacon fat. And that's pretty much all there is to it. Now these peas are going to cook for several hours. They're just going to get better and better. You'll check back in just a minute and we'll talk about the greens. Be right back. Okay, folks, we're back, and now it's time to do the greens. Now you can use collard greens or whatever you like. My favorite is turnip greens, and if I had my druthers, I'd put a little bit of mustard greens in there too, but I couldn't find those. So this is just turnip greens with turnips diced up in there. Now along to that, I'm going to add some salt, quite a bit of pepper. Going to add a half a stick of butter. I'm going to add the rest of my bacon, the rest of my bacon fat, the other part of my onion. All that. Why do we have greens on New Year's time? Well, it's all about the color. Greens are green, and that symbolizes money and prosperity. And that's why we do greens. Actually, I mean, the real reason is the peas and greens and cornbread and pork, they go so well together anyway. So why not? Definitely don't just do this on New Year's, y'all. So there's our turnip greens with all our ingredients. Now this is going to cook for several hours. It's going to get better and better. While those cook, we're going to, I showed you at the beginning of the video, we put in our pork roast in the crock pot overnight, left it on high. So while my peas and greens cook, I'm going to go ahead and separate my pork, put it in a skillet, and dry it out just a little bit. So you don't, in the crock pot, it can kind of sit in its own grease, but it's definitely falling apart. and we're going to show you that next. Be right back. Alright folks, we're back, and now it's time to talk about the pork portion of this meal. Now I told y'all that I put the giant Boston butt in the crock pot last night. Nothing but salt and pepper, turned it on high, went to bed. So a while ago I let it cool and then just picked it apart. Here's the flat bone. Most of y'all, a lot of people think that the pork butt is like the butt of the pork, but it's a shoulder roast, and that's why this bone is flat. That's part of the shoulder blade. Anyway, there's all my fat. There's the bone. It was totally falling apart. Now I've kind of shredded it up. I put it in a skillet, and I'm just drying it out a little bit. We want to get a little bit of a crisp on there. It's going to make it taste better with part of our other ingredients, like the peas and the greens. All of this goes together just fantastic. So once again, so your peas bring you good luck. Your greens represent money and prosperity. Pork, part of the traditional net is just that it's so rich and fatty, and if you're able to have it, you're doing pretty good. So it represents prosperity. Another cool thing that I heard was that other animals like chickens and turkeys, they always scratch backwards, but a pig puts his nose in the ground and always moves forward, and that's what you want to do coming into the new year, move forward. So we're just going to get this a little bit crispy. While it does that, I'm going to move on to my cornbread. We'll be right back. Okay folks, moving on to the cornbread portion of this meal. Now, cornbread and black-eyed peas and turnip greens and pork, they go together so well. But what does the cornbread represent as far as the others? Like I said, now the peas represent, they bring you good luck. The greens represent money and prosperity. Same thing with the pork, prosperity. So cornbread, it's kind of moving along the same lines. The golden color of the cornbread represents gold, and once again, prosperity. So today, I'm going to be mixing up my cornbread with a little bit of jalapenos. So I don't really measure anything. There's my cornmeal. I'm going to put in 1 egg. I'm going to put in 1 diced up jalapeno. Just a little bit of salt. A little bit of pepper. And put in just a little bit of hot water. So it looks right. And that might be it right there. Okay, now in my black iron skillet, I've put some Crisco. I preheated my oven to 450. You want a good smoking hot oven. Bring this down. Put this in. Shake, and into the oven it goes. Now when the cornbread's ready, we are ready for our New Year's Day meal. Bring it on, 2024. Here we go. Okay folks, we're back. Cornbread is ready. I just took it out of the oven and put it on a plate. I'm going to brush it with a little bit of melted butter right now. Once again, now this cornbread represents gold, which once again points to prosperity, which we hope all of y'all will have plenty of in this upcoming year. So I brushed it with a little butter. Now I'm going to cut a piece. I'm just going to cut one for now so that nobody else is here right now, so I don't want it to dry out. That there. And I think we are ready to eat, folks. What a beautiful plate. And Happy New Year to me. We've got peas, greens, pork, and cornbread. Before I close out, I'm going to show y'all how beautiful this black iron skillet is. This is my favorite pan here lately. Of course, you never wash it with soap and water, just wipe it out. But that's like my cornbread pan now, or biscuits. Anyway, hope that 2024 is good to everyone. Certainly wish that everybody has a Happy New Year. Now, a lot of people don't like greens, and they don't like this meal just because of that. I love them. I love them. As far as the peas, I used to have the peas all the time. It's been a minute lately though. Peas are good. And who doesn't love pork? And this is a Boston butt, just shred it up. This would be good on barbecue sandwiches or anything. Oh, that's good. Try the jalapeno cornbread. That's good. Folks, there's no reason to wait until New Year's to have a meal like this. All of this is good. It goes great together. So don't just have it once a year, have it all the time. So Happy New Year, everybody. Thanks for joining me today with Cooking with Drew Williams, and we'll see you next time.